Hello everyone, Timothy here. Welcome back to the channel. So, aside from doing Wreckfest, I decided I'm going to ring in on a little topic here. Why are people single? Well, let's look at it from a financial point of view, shall we? So, as you can see here, I typed into Bing, what is the average cost for a date in the USA? Well, according to Bing, approximately $102.32. It says the average cost for a date in the USA is approximately $102.32, which includes 2 dinners, a bottle of wine, and 2 movie tickets. However, the average adult American spends about $2,279 on dates each year, with each date costing around $168. The cost can vary significantly by location, with some cities being much more expensive than others. Now, that's one reason. So just imagine that you're a guy, and you meet a girl who wants to take you on weekly dinner dates. Or, I mean, she wants you to take her on weekly dinner dates. Okay, well, as you can see, if you do the math, that's going to be quite a bit of money, right? We're talking over $5,000 in 1 year. So, let's just say you decide to do that. You're dating. All right, so let's just say after a year, maybe 2, you decide you're going to tie the knot, right? So, he decides, I'm going to buy this lady an engagement ring, right? So, what did I ask on that one? Well, let's see. What is the average cost of an engagement ring in the USA? And it says, the average cost of an engagement ring in the USA is approximately $5,200 according to recent studies. However, costs can vary significantly by state, with some states reporting costs over $10,000. In 2025, the average cost is reported to be around $6,504. Now, let's just say you're still taking her on weekly dinner dates. So that's an extra $5,200 on top of the $5,200 you're already probably spending that year, right? So assuming your dates are $100 even, and that's like after tip and all that. So, you know, that's 52 weeks a year. That's $5,200 times 2 for that year. Okay, so you spent $10,400 on this lady in that year. Again, we're talking weekly dinner dates. I don't know how many ladies want that or how many guys are willing to do that, you know. But as you can see, it can rack up pretty fast, okay? But it doesn't end with the engagement ring, does it? Nope. Let's take a look at how much it costs to get married. What is the average cost of a marriage in the United States of America? Well, it says here, the average cost of a wedding in the USA is approximately $33,000 in 2025. Here are some key points. The average cost for a hometown wedding is around $32,000. For an international destination wedding, the average cost is about $41,000. Factors influencing the cost include location, guest count, the type of wedding, hometown versus destination. The cost has seen an increase due to inflation and higher living wages. For more detailed breakdowns by state, you can refer to sources like The Knot and Zola, which I'm not going to do. So, okay, so say you date this girl for, I don't know, we could say like 2, maybe 3 years. So you're spending $5,200 a year on weekly dinner dates. And then the year do you decide, hey, I'm going to pop the question. That's $10,400 for that year. And then the following year, you guys plan your wedding. Boom, you're still taking her out on these weekly dinner dates. So $5,200 plus we'll just use the $33,000. That's $38,000. Okay? You could buy a car for that. A car. Now, why would you buy a car over the happiness of marriage? Well, let's take a look. How long does a marriage last in the USA? Approximately 7 to 8 years. The average length of a marriage in the United States is approximately 7 to 8 years. Specifically, the average duration of a first marriage is about 7 years, while second marriages have a 60% chance of ending in divorce. And third marriages have a 73% chance. Additionally, the median duration of marriage varies by demographic, with currently married whites having a median duration of 22 years and Asians around 17 years. Now, it doesn't mention any other ethnic groups, so we're just going to, I guess white people like to stay married longer. I don't know. Anyway, that's it. I'm just going by what it says, or I'm not making any opinions here. So, anyway, so, okay, you're going to spend... Remember what our tally is, right? $5,200 to date this girl for 1 year, right? Let's just say you fall in love, you got the butterflies. Okay, I'm going to pop the question. The second year, 5,200 plus a 5,200 engagement ring, 10,400 for another 5,200. So that's going to be, what, 15,600 so far we're up to, right? The next year, you're spending 38,500 when you're married. And now, I don't know if you're going to do weekly dinner dates while you're married. It could happen, right? But let's just say it doesn't. Let's keep it as low as we can. So, okay. So you stop doing the weekly dinner dates. That's why it's only the last 7 years, right? Okay. So still, this dude who married this lady is already in well over $40,000, okay? Just keep that in mind. Now, look, I'm not trying to promote MGTOW stuff. I'm not trying to say that the red pill is right, but you got to take a look at it from a financial point of view, okay? Are you willing to spend $40,000 on something that's only going to last you 8 years? That's really what you got to ask yourself, okay? But we're not done yet. What is the average cost of alimony in the USA? Now, we're not even counting divorce fees, okay? We're just going to say you both decided to go your separate ways, but you're getting hit with spousal support, okay? So, the average cost of alimony in the USA is not a single figure due to its highly individualized nature, influenced by various factors unique to each case. However, studies indicate that typical alimony payments can range from $0 to $1,381 per month, depending on the state. Additionally, the average annual payments can range from $5,000 to $10,000. So let's go on that low end of $5,000 a year. Okay, so you're not taking her out on weekly dinner dates anymore, but you kind of are. You're saving $200. Okay, so I don't know. Is it worth it? Now, it doesn't say how long alimony lasts. I would say maybe 10 years, 5 years, 20 years. Who knows? I've never been married and had to pay alimony. I don't know. You better be better off asking someone or maybe doing more research on it. But it doesn't end there. What if you had kids? Well, the average cost to raise a child in the United States of America is based on different studies, but here are some key figures. Annual cost approximately $21,681 per year, totaling around $389,000 over 18 years. Median cost for 2 working parents, the median annual cost is about $22,850. Total cost range estimates suggest it could range from $202,248 to $430,928. I'm assuming that's up to 18. USDA estimates, previous estimates indicate costs could be between $241,106 and $513,722 to raise a child to age 17. Now, let's go back to, hey, I popped the question. Hey, we're married. Let's consummate our marriage. Let's make a baby. Let's just say you get it on the first try. You have one child. The child was born 9 months later. We're not even counting delivery costs here. Doctors, none of that. Okay, so you're spending $21,000 a year on the kid. If your marriage lasts 7 years, that's $21,000 times 6 years, because you're married for 1 year before the kid popped out. So that's another $120,000 you spent. But your child is worth it, right? Of course it is. It's a life. But what else do we have here? But when you break up and if the lady has custody, the average cost of child support in the United States is $441 per month. I assume there's a little wiggle room and variation there based on income and what state you're in. To get a calculated child support for your child, go to the website for child support in your state and put your family's information into the state formula. So there you go. So now, remember when I was comparing buying a car? I had a stepdad, and he owned a 67 Chevelle. Now, I can tell you he probably didn't buy it off the lot new. This was a guy who would go to used car lots and buy some junker for $400. And then he'd look at me dead in the eye and say, okay, all I got to do now is get this running before your mom comes home. Okay, so I doubt he bought it new. But just say he bought his 67 Chevelle brand new when it first came out. The original price for a brand new 67 Chevelle on car lots was approximately $2,300. The 67 Chevelle SS, a high-performance variant, that's the one he had. started at a price of $2,300 as well, reflecting its popularity and demand during that time. Now, how long does a brand new car last? 200,000 miles or 8 years. So, would you rather buy a car that'll last you 8 years or more, depending on how good you are at maintaining it? Or do you want to get married, have kids, maybe get divorced, maybe get hit with alimony, maybe get hit with child support? Is it worth it? If you're a man living in the United States of America, what do you think is the better option? Buying a $50,000 car or a $50,000 wife? What is the better choice for you as a man? The car's not going to hit you with alimony and child support. But let's see what else it says here. However, many vehicles can last longer due to advanced technologies, regular servicing, careful driving, and improved road conditions. Japanese cars tend to have the best longevity, with 200,000 miles to 300,000 miles achievably. American cars are more likely to expire between 150,000 and 200,000. Ultimately, how long you keep your car depends on personal preference. So really, the better you take care of your car, the longer it'll last. And I know you ladies are, well, that's the same thing with us. And you're right. The better he takes care of you, the longer your marriage is going to last. But, you remember those percentages? What's the percentage a car is going to die? Is it 50%, 60%, 73%? Look, I don't want to make the MGTOW guys right, but they make a lot of valuable points. So, I just want to put that out there for you guys, and I just want you to understand, this is why I'm single. Because, you know, it's better for me to invest in a car that I know I'll get 8 years out of, or more, depending how I take care of it, than it is for me to invest in a woman that, well, for one, I'm old, fat, hairy, ugly. I've been called creepy. I'm considered broke because I make $48,000 a year. Yeah, and who knows, maybe a lot of women might think I have a tiny wee-wee too. The point I'm trying to make is, I've been to the bar scene my whole life. Okay? From the time I could go to the bar. I've been out there. I've tried every trick and method, and, you know, maybe I just don't have the game. I don't have the looks. I don't have the income, whatever. The point is, I've tried. Okay? I tried, and I failed, and I'm kind of done. So, does that mean I've given up? Just here. Okay? Now, am I going to other nations and finding some girl who's out on the streets who's... No, I'm not doing that, okay? I'm not going to do that, okay? You see, I was raised a little more old school, okay? I need a woman who's going to, you know, be a wife to me, okay? You know, I don't need some empowered feminist. And it's not that I care that you're empowered or that you're a feminist. I don't need someone like that. You see, what I need... When a man asks you, hey, babe, will you make me a sandwich? You say, make your own sandwich? Just imagine that he's at work and you're at home and his son needs to eat. Are you going to tell his son, who can't even reach the counter, to make his own sandwich? Do you not love your man enough to want to feed him? And now you see why men are avoiding women. Now you see why women are having a little more trouble finding dates. You know, you all want those men who are millionaires and billionaires. You want those men with the six-pack abs and the 6'3" and they're basketball players and sports stars and record producers and all this and that. But I hate to break it to you, the patriarchy told you to chase men of wealth, power, and influence. And that's exactly what you're doing. The problem is they also told you what kind of women the patriarchy wants. The rich, the powerful, they wrote the patriarchy. You think it was poor fat dudes like me working fast food that said, oh, a woman has to be this? No, I didn't do that. Kings and nobles made those rules. And you're chasing them. And you're the exact opposite of what they asked for. Do they want loud, entitled women? Do they want women with tattoos and piercings everywhere? They want a woman who can't take care of his child because she's busy at work? Ask yourself that question. And let me ask you this. Are they hanging out at the clubs you're going to? They probably own the clubs you're going to, but you're never going to see them. They're hanging out at the country club or on their private yacht or jetting around in their private jet. They don't have time for your club or the bar or wherever you're hanging at. You're not going to meet them at the grocery store. They probably have maids go out and get their groceries or butlers. You're never going to meet them unless you walk in their circles. So if all you can attract is a dude that looks like me, you're not walking in those circles. Because I don't walk in those circles. Just wanted you to know that. Now, I'm not trying to cause any hate. I'm not trying to make anyone mad. I just want you to understand this is why you, as a man or as a woman, might be single today. It's just not worth the money. Inflation be damned. Inflation doesn't even factor in. Okay? $50,000 for an 8-year marriage and $50,000 for an 8-year car. The car, you will never get alimony and child support. Ever. You'll never get it. But the woman, 60% chance on the first marriage. The first marriage, 60% chance. I don't know. I mean, you need to make a decision. So ladies, I wish you the best of luck in finding your men of wealth, power, and influence. And men, well, I wish you the best in all your hobbies and whatever peace you're enjoying and whatever you're trying to do. But at the end of the day, your rights and freedoms, they're not born out of selfishness. They're born out of community and working together. We used to believe in strength, bravery, and courage. We used to believe in duty, honor, and sacrifice. We used to believe in the Almighty God. Okay, think of this. If women are not dating men and men are not dating women, who's there to replace you when you grow old and die? What's left after you're gone? What's left for the next generation for those who are? Less and less defenders. Your rights and freedoms are enforceable only by your military. That's how we became a nation in the United States. Protesting is useless. It only works if the other side's willing to listen. King Henry didn't listen. That's why we're a nation today, because he didn't listen. If he'd have listened, we might still be saying, God save the king. Having tea and crumpets. But we're not. So I want you to think about that. Anyway, this video's dragged on long enough, so I thank you all for tuning in, and I'll talk to you guys next time.